Hey guys, welcome back to Economics and Comics. Look, we decided to do a spoiler, everything. We're gonna tell you everything about Captain Marvel. So I'm gonna give you 5 seconds right now before we start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I hope you enjoy.
Okay. We're going to spoil every aspect of this film for you.
Okay.
Even the end credits. So.
Yes, even the end credits, and people want, it's already out there. So I'm going to, again, there's another video, you can watch that instead. I wanted to start off, last night I made a comment, I do want to keep this video separate, but I made a comment that the beginning of the movie, before the movie started, was the best part. And what I meant by that, spoiler is, in every Marvel movie, at the beginning it does the flipping of the comic books, and it turns into the big Marvel logo, and it's all Stan Lee pictures. It's Stan Lee.
Yeah, so it's just an out-and-out tribute to Stan Lee. It even shows like the cameos he's done in the film.
Yeah, it's everything. And to me, it gave me the tinglies and everything like that. From that point on, I didn't care what the movie, and honestly for me, what the movie was going to do or how it was going to, that was it for me.
So we're going to go through the film.
The plot.
The plot. So again, my point. Spoilers are coming.
Yeah.
So the movie begins on the Kree homeworld of Hala, and we mentioned this the other day that it's a little jarring that it immediately starts on like this futuristic alien Star Wars feeling world. But so it starts on Hala with, and they call her Veers, and you won't find out. We'll talk about it later. But her name is Veers, and it's realized. Well, you can say it now.
We'll just say it. They call her Veers because they found her dog tags from when she was a pilot, and they were burned and cut in half, and instead of Danvers, it says Veers.
Yeah.
Veers, the last. So they call her Veers.
On the Kree homeworld, they call her Veers. And the movie starts with her having dreams. She's an amnesiac. She doesn't remember where she comes from or anything. So she's having dreams about some of the things that happened to her in her past. And currently she's part of the Kree Star Force, and she's under the command of Yon-Rogg, who's Jude Law. And early in the film, Jude Law and her are sparring, and they're kind of explaining that she doesn't remember anything about her past, and Jude Law is telling her that she's impulsive and she's brash and she needs to learn how to control her powers. She's too emotional. And for some reason, she's the only one that has powers.
No, what they say is the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah, well, I haven't gotten to that part yet, but it's coming.
She does have the hand thing at that point.
Yeah, she can shoot photon beams out of her hands.
Yeah, and she has to control it. He's like, you need to control it or you're never going to win a fight or whatever.
Yeah, and so that part confused me a little bit. It's almost like the entire Kree population is comfortable with the idea of one of their own being able to shoot laser beams out of her hands. No other Kree has this power, right? So why are they not thinking, oh my gosh, she's so alien?
Yeah.
And lock her up, lock her down.
And she
bleeds blue blood. So after the sparring scene, they go to see the Supreme Intelligence. Now this is kind of a strange thing because this AI, it's an AI that controls the Kree homeworld.
Dude, it hooks up to you exactly like the Matrix does.
And you enter basically this matrix of
it's the Matrix.
So
and it's called the Supreme.
This is actually an interesting element of the film that you've got an entire world governed by a god, which is basically an AI system.
That's almost an aspect I want to know more about.
Yeah, and they don't. We have no idea how this world got founded based on this artificial intelligence. There's very little, to do with that whole society.
But once you enter the Supreme Intelligence, you see whoever you respect the most. So when
that's like your god.
Yeah.
Or the god shows an image of someone that you attach to most.
And so when Veers enters it, she sees Dr. Wendy Lawson, who's played by Annette Bening, and she doesn't know who that is.
Yeah.
So she's basically being talked to by the person she respects most, but she doesn't remember who it is. So that's...
And so, from basically what they're telling her is the Supreme Intelligence gave her the gift. It picks different people to give certain gifts to, and she has this gift power given by the Supreme Intelligence. And don't question why you got it, it's for a reason. So skip through that. Then what happens?
So the next piece of the story is that, I guess the Supreme Intelligence basically tells Star Force that they have a new mission. And Star Force, Yon-Rogg is the leader, Minerva is one of the... So Yon-Rogg, Jude Law is the leader, and he's got, like 4 or 5 henchmen,
and
soldiers,
a couple of the people are from like Guardians.
Jimon Hansu plays the same character.
Korra. He plays Korra. And so you see him in Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff. Minerva is one of the other ones. I can't remember the names of the others.
It's okay. So they go on this mission.
So their mission is to retrieve a spy who is stranded on the world of Torfa. And that's a Kree-controlled border planet. And so they head to this planet of Torfa. And their mission is to just rescue this spy. But once they get there, it's all an ambush.
Yeah, so let's skip through that. The spy is actually a Skrull. They've already Skrulls are shapeshifters. There's a Kree-Skrull war. I'm sure you guys already know, but there's two alien races fighting each other. They capture her.
Yep.
They capture Carol Danvers,
Veers. They call
Veers.
her. Yeah.
And they take her and they plug her in another machine that's kind of like the Matrix.
Yeah, they're using basically like a mind probe on her to uncover her memories.
They're trying to find something specific in her memories, which doesn't come up just yet, what it is. And that's Talos, right?
It is Talos, yeah.
He's the one that, or is it? It's Talos.
Talos, yeah.
He's the one
leader, like a Skrull leader, basically.
Played by Ben Mendelsohn.
It's really weird though because like, although they're her enemy, they're kind of nice. It's a weird feel. You're not understanding it.
There's a reason behind that. We'll get to that in a minute.
But they're like probing her mind, and you can see, and it keeps going back to those memories that you see in the previews.
Yeah.
She's a kid. She's an adult. She's a whatever.
But then it eventually focuses on Dr. Wendy Lawson, who's Annette Bening.
And this is another part that really bothered me about the movie, and why I give it a lower grade. It's like Top Gun all over again. What's the main guy? Top Gun with Tom Cruise and his pilot at the Guns Academy.
Tom Skerritt is the
Tom Skerritt is the major guy, right? She looks exactly like him.
It's possibly an homage.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's homage. Top Gun isn't a Marvel. It's like so they stole from Matrix, they stole from Top Gun, and they're not even hiding it. There's a cat called Goose or something like that.
Yeah. The cat.
And that cat's a whole nother thing. But it's the whole. It's trying to remember memories. So anyway, whether they implant memories or there's a lot of implanting and exporting of memories and all this. She escapes.
Yeah. Well, so basically, that you find out that what the Skrulls are after is Dr. Wendy Lawson invented a light speed engine, and this engine will allow the Skrulls to travel much further distances than they've ever been able.
But that doesn't even. But that's another part that doesn't make sense to me. They're using wormholes to travel to.
Well, that's the Krees, maybe. Maybe the Skrulls can't do that. The Krees have all of these crazy.
See, what confuses me is the Skrulls have the ability to shapeshift into any other human. You'd think they could easily hide themselves anywhere. Like why are they on the run refugees?
They do, yeah.
They could just assimilate themselves into any society temporarily and completely.
Well, that's
stow
what
away
they do, but they're just they found.
It's a very strange power to have,
and also it's an amazing power.
It is an amazing power.
And it's also
not clearly defined.
Yeah.
Once again, so the Skrulls can all they have to do is see somebody, and they can copy their appearance perfectly, and also somehow get their most recent memories.
their memory.
She escapes.
Yeah. Now that she knows that what the Skrulls are after is this lightspeed engine, they find out it's on Earth, because that's where Dr. Wendy Lawson is from Earth. So after Veers, Brie Larson, escapes, she decides she's going to head to Earth first and try and beat the Skrulls there and obtain this lightspeed engine before.
Well, no, don't they aren't they headed to Earth? After they find that out, they change.
Yeah, well, the Skrulls want the lightspeed engine.
Yeah, but after they read it, they start heading to Earth already. So when she escapes, doesn't she?
Yeah, so she ends up on Earth. She crash lands on Earth.
She crash lands into a blockbuster,
and the Skrulls are in hot pursuit. So basically, right as she's at Earth, minutes later.
Yeah, they're after.
So and one of the things we mentioned yesterday is the music and the throwbacks and all that stuff. It's because when she crash lands on Earth, the year is 1996. So all of the cars and all of the music and all of the blockbuster, even a lot.
And I thought there's a lot of effective jokes that go on with the blockbuster. There's a True Lies standee that she shoots the Arnold Schwarzenegger out of the True Lies.
Yeah, there's an old school Radio Shack.
Yeah, the Radio Shack. So there's a lot of throwback references in the 90s, which are cute, fun in the moment.
Yeah,
hardly impactful by any means, but they're it keeps up the vibe of kind of that, again, borrowing perhaps too heavily from Guardians of the Galaxy.
But they could have done more.
They could have, yeah.
Regardless, this whole time, at the beginning of the movie, I'm not jumping back, there's some parts where she's smiley and happy, and you can see that, but she's most of the time, serious.
I think it's a constant flip-flop. She's just overly serious half the time, and then she's, sarcastic and jokey the other half the time, and it doesn't really feel natural.
No, it doesn't.
But there are moments, there are more extended moments of humor that I feel like it works. You kind of get a sense that she's more of a human. She gets a little bit of that person.
Well, yeah.
I think what it is that there were 4 screenwriters credited on this. I think there's too many chefs in the pie, right? So
that happens.
You get, or too many chefs in the kitchen, however that phrase goes. So what you're getting is probably the first draft had her very serious. And then they brought in more people to spice up the script and add humor and add, elements of her humanity. So then you start to get kind of, and again, this is mainly at the beginning, the first 30, 40 minutes. It's very all over the place. You don't get a sense of who she is.
And it feels like they're stealing from 100 different movies. I mean,
they
even
are.
Star Wars, like you said. And regardless, so she lands in a blockbuster. She comes outside, a security guard. He's like, "Oh my God, what's that?"
Yeah, so it creates a commotion, which draws the attention of Nick Fury and the Shield agents.
And Agent Coulson.
Yeah, and you
which
get
is
to see,
super awesome to see Agent Coulson again because I love him. And one quick thing, another problem with the movie, they film it with Samuel L. Jackson and I can't remember Agent Coulson's name.
Clark Gregg.
But and they're in the movie, but they clean them up so good. They alter it so much. They look like fake clone.
They're a little bit like plastic dolls.
Like to make them look young, and it just kind of ruins it.
Yeah,
I love seeing Coulson though.
Yeah, no, it's a great little kind of throw in because he's not in the movie for more than 5 minutes tops. But because Samuel L. Jackson is in the film so much, you get used to it. You get used to the
It's like some people say it's a cop thing, a dual thing.
Yeah,
it's almost like the Samuel. It's Nick Fury's origin. Almost.
Yeah. Well, and that's part
Shield.
That's part of what I liked about this film's independence because
that's what I liked about it too.
You get Nick Fury's origins, and so you don't. It's great for the fans. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of longtime fans who are going to pick up on all the little subtleties and throwbacks to other Nick Fury stories, his other involvement. But you don't have to know anything about Nick Fury or Agent Coulson.
No, you don't.
So they reintroduce these characters seemingly for the first time.
But the good thing about it is, from that point on, Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, saves the entire movie. That's how I look at it. He's in the rest of the movie.
Well, you could almost argue that once they land on Earth, the movie starts getting a little better.
Then the movie starts.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this in our review, the spoiler-free review the other day, that after that first 30, 40 minutes, they kind of clear up the rough edges, right? And it starts to, as Carol Danvers starts to discover her identity.
Up too.
Yeah, everything starts to fit together. So the movie definitely gets better as it goes along.
I feel like she was, look, now that we're talking about it again, I'm sorry, Joel. I feel like she was intentionally, the actor, and I hate to say this, acting the way she was acting for a reason. I don't think they were directing her to act the way she acted in this movie.
Well, again,
it's possible she had a different idea of how the character should be than the
I don't even think it was about the character. I'm just not trying, this is my own personal view. Okay, so...
Well, to expand upon that, because this is a Marvel movie, it's hundreds of millions of dollars involved, so many different people involved, Disney, being the top of everything, kind of overseeing thing. I don't know that there's anything in here that is not completely approved by everybody. I think there's so many people involved that what we get here is a version that has been passed over by so many hands and so many people. I feel like there's very few things that they could have subtly slipped in there that people weren't very aware of. So the direction of Marvel's going, the politically correct aspects of everything,
and that's
they're
fine.
doing this on purpose.
That's totally fine. I mean, Carol Danvers is a female. She's she's almost like a god. But the thing is, I feel like the parts when she makes a little funny joke or smirks or is actually looking like she's enjoying her position, her part in the movie is the only good parts of her. She's like, oh, she caught herself from actually enjoying making this movie. She realizes it and then comes back to her normal.
Yeah, I think it's tough because you can
think that's part of the script. I mean,
but you could defend that by simply saying she has amnesia. She doesn't even know who she is.
I understand
so
that.
It's more difficult for her to show her emotions and stuff.
And I said that last night too, but
anyway, she's stoic throughout the whole thing.
I think we mentioned in the review last night that there was a scene where they're riding side by side in the cockpit of something.
And that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
And so you get that kind of that very laid back buddy cop vibe. Yeah, and that's that one moment where you get kind of a genuine sense of Brie Larson as
but that's also
that's
also the time that the movie changes from just her not knowing. It's Nick Fury and Captain Marvel all the way out.
Yeah.
They're a team.
Well, at this point of the movie, Veers and Samuel L. Jackson, they have to work together. So this is where you get you get a little buddy cop kind of thing going on. There's a train chase, a car chase. This is some action sequences here.
Okay, so let's talk about let's move on right to the train chase. A Skrull comes down, shoots at him, she blasts, and then he believes her. She's an alien from outer space. She chases him. Then Nick Fury's chasing her, chase the alien or the Skrull. Okay, so they're on the bus and they're fighting. Now Now the scroll can change to anybody, right? So they get on. So she's looking through the people, and boom, she lifts down a newspaper. It's Stanley, which is great. But
did you notice he was reading the Mallrats script?
That's right.
And
That's a funny thing. He was reading the Mallrats script, which is great. And he kept repeating that line. One of the lines he has. Anyway, was it the great responsibility? I don't know. But another part, and I'm not sure. You guys let me know after you see it. They start this fight in the train, this old lady and her, and it's actually a pretty good scene. But I could swear there's a guy in the background with like an iPhone filming it. He's like, oh, I could swear I saw that, because this is more of like a beeper, giant phone time.
Well, it's 96,
yeah,
so they would have been
there.
Yeah. You know, we
but at the end of this action sequence, Samuel L. Jackson's car crashes, and you know he gets bloodied, and the Skrull that's in the passenger seat is dead. You know, so.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. There was a scroll in the car. It was Coulson, but it wasn't Coulson. Coulson called Samuel L. Jackson, hey, where are you guys? You guys left. And the scroll copied Coulson, so there was a big fight scene.
Did you get a...
Okay, so after this action sequence, they end up going to the military base that Wendy Lawson used to work at. So this is where they're going to find out more.
They go to a bar. They go to a bar. They get split up. Yeah. She goes to a bar in one of her memories where she used to be at a bar.
And she sees a picture on the wall.
Of course, Nick Fury's already there. Yeah. They have a discussion. They make friends. Then they work together and they go to the
military base.
They find out where this base is and they go to the base.
And once there, they end up finding out that Wendy Lawson. They basically break into the file room and they find her file and they find out that she died in a plane crash and that she also killed somebody else in that same plane crash. And that other person was Carol Danvers.
Yeah. And she's been having these weird memories of like a scroll actually there at the destroyer
at the moment that the jet crashed,
killing them like with a gun.
So this is again the Lightspeed jet that they were actually.
The reason they're going after this Lightspeed jet is because the memories that they jacked out of her brain led them to that point.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we gotta go find this. So anyway, the Skrulls are basically following every move that she's making.
Yes. Well,
there's a reason.
So at this point, Samuel L. Jackson calls his boss, who is his name is Keller, who's played by Ben Mendelsohn. Well, you find out
Ben Mendelsohn where he doesn't have all his makeup.
Yeah. Well, you find out it's actually a Skrull that's been taking over the boss.
What's also weird is there's this cat in this giant military base, and all of a sudden
they run across this random cat named
and
Goose.
it Nick Fury's
like,
I love you, and it's named Goose. So the cat is part of the team now, or is that
pretty early on they find out the Skrulls are afraid of cats.
Yeah, they're afraid of cats. So Nick Fury's holding the cat, and the Skrulls like, no, it's not. What do you call it? A fluffin?
Flurkin?
Flurkin. He call it, no, that's a flurkin. He's like, it's a cat. It's just, there's some funny parts like that, and I enjoy that. So, okay.
So at this point, Veers finds out that she was actually her name was Carol Danvers, and she was a pilot for the USAF. And so in the file, it mentions another pilot that was her best friend named Maria Rambeau, who's played by Lashana Lynch.
And her daughter, she has a daughter, Monica Rambeau, which is a shout out to the next Captain Marvel. And that's, if you're looking for comics, it's Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 16, first appearance of Monica Rambeau. So there you go.
So they go to her house to confront her and to ask questions.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my God, you're still alive. Who are you? And she doesn't remember, and things start to click.
Yeah, this is the point where she's starting to realize she's had a life on Earth, and we're getting a little bit more of the details of her past that are coming back to. And at this point, also the Ben Mendelsohn Skrull Talos, he also follows them there and confronts them, and he says that he needs their help.
Yeah, it's like,
so this is a first really big plot twist, and I liked this, even though maybe people will see it coming, and it's not terribly.
It's been done a million times in movies, but it's handled well.
I didn't see it coming.
Yeah. Well, and I liked it. So what it is it basically turns out that Carol Danvers has been working for the wrong side the whole time. The Kree are actually the bad guys, and so now she needs to be working with the Skrull, right?
Yeah.
The Skrull.
Because they want to end the Kree-Skrull war. Yeah. Because all the Skrull are basically getting annihilated. Now, we also forgot that Ronan the Accuser...
Lee Pace.
They're in this too. He's in this too.
Well, so the whole time they're on Earth, Starforce and Jan Rog, Jude Law's character, they're heading toward her. but it's going to take them 22 hours to get there.
Yeah, this is another very bizarre. It reminds me of The Last Jedi, right, where the bulk of the middle of the movie is a slow speed chase. So for some inexplicable reason, it takes 22 hours for Jude Law to arrive on Earth,
especially when they're jumping through wormholes.
Yeah, so here we are waiting, and every few moments, you get Jude Law calling her up. She's jimmied something from Radio Shack and is able to communicate with him, and they exchange little bits of information. And I'm like, why isn't he there already to just go in with this? And apparently,
well, it's possibly the wormholes are a certain distance away.
Yeah, I mean, you can explain it away in many ways, but what it is, it boils down to the writing. They've written in this way to delay,
and also apparently Ronan's even a little bit further out, so it's going to take him even longer.
Yeah, it takes him all the way to the end of the movie for him to arrive.
Yeah, but he's like, let us come destroy the Earth and all the scrolls and everything. Let's extinguish them. And Jude Law's like, no. Wait.
But again, that boils down to the writing. Yeah. He specifically creates an element of delay so that his character can...
So at this point in the movie, in order to try and convince Carol Danvers that she's been fighting for the wrong side and to help the Skrulls, Talos gives her the black box for the plane crash that supposedly killed Carol Danvers and Wendy Lawson. Yeah. So she listens to this black box, and then everything, and for some reason it just all comes back to her, I guess.
Because there's a recording of what happens after.
Yeah.
What's her name? Not Carol, but the other one.
Wendy Lawson.
Wendy Lawson. She's they find out she's Kree.
Yes.
And that she's
and that her name is originally Mar-Vell.
Yeah, she's actually Captain Mar-Vell.
Yeah.
So she lets her know everything. She remembers everything. This is when we can spoil everything, right? Where she.
Yeah, this is the point where the movie spoils everything for you, or reveals everything to you.
So what happens is she says you have to destroy the engine. Right? Because they're trying to get at the
Skrulls. The light speed engine they needed.
Yeah.
So this whole
which
time,
is powered by the.
Yeah. So this whole time, Carol Danvers or Veers believes that the Skrulls are the ones trying to come after this light speed engine,
and she still thinks that.
And yes, but in this moment, she reveals. They reveal the true memory, which is Jude Law. Jan Rog
is the Kree.
Was coming after this light speed engine. So to prevent Jan Rog from getting the light speed engine, she shoots.
Now the light speed engine is made up from the.
It's made from the Tesseract.
The Tesseract.
So it's powered by the Tesseract.
Captain Mar-Vell used the Tesseract to make the
light speed engine.
So
when
some of the energy is within there.
So when Carol Danvers shoots this light speed engine to prevent Jan Rog from getting it, it blows up, and she's standing too close to it, and so all of this energy.
It absorbs all the energy.
Yeah. So
and that's how she becomes Captain.
So basically, they're trying to say her powers are partly derived from the Tesseract. Yeah.
They are fully derived.
This was one of my major problems with this. Just the absolute nonsense of her receiving these powers. Why is she not dead? Why is she?
Okay,
there's so many. So for starters, I don't know what the light speed engine is. I'm not entirely
It's irrelevant.
Sure. Right. But again, how does shooting it? Why does that create an explosion?
Yeah. Also, you don't find out at this point that it's the Tesseract. You simply see that she blows up an engine, and all this blue energy goes into her, and now she's all of a sudden got these powers.
And so,
but this is also the point where absorbing all these powers turns her into an amnesiac. So
and everything. And so what happens is, Jude Law, he takes her back because he sees that she absorbed the energy. Yeah. So also, which is weird, he gives her some of his blood.
He gives her.
That's how she becomes Kree.
He then lies to her for her life, basically for her life up to that point, telling her that she's always been a Kree.
Yeah, that they give her a superpower, and they use the machine to manipulate her to think she's Kree. They're using to manipulate her. And all at the same time, I think they're trying to find the rest of the Skrulls at the same time to destroy the race.
So after this moment where she hears the black box, gets all of her memories back, she realizes she's fighting for the wrong side. The movie flip-flops who the villains and the heroes really are at this point. And this is the point she says, now I'm going to help the Skrulls. So in order to help the Skrulls, she has to find Dr. Wendy Lawson's secret laboratory. And it just so happens this laboratory is a spaceship that's orbiting in Earth, and it's cloaked, so it's invisible.
Yeah, they have to go to the laboratory to find what
well, they're actually going to find the Tesseract.
Yeah,
but the Tesseract's in the thing.
Yeah, so
in space.
One of the for me, this was one of the most effective elements of the movie is that ostensibly they're going to the spaceship to recover the light speed engine of the Tesseract, but in reality, Talos is going to retrieve his family.
Going there.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that a lot because it's a glimpse of pathos. It's one of the few moments where we get to see the good guy version of this character who we previously thought was the enemy. And it was that to me was one of the most effective.
It's revealed that he's actually going there to save his family.
Right. Yeah, and he doesn't even care about the Tesseract.
Yeah. So once they arrive at this cloaked starship in space, orbiting Earth, he is reunited with his wife and child.
So yeah, basically, Captain Marvel, or whoever she was, the person, she was trying to create something, I guess, that she was trying to develop that engine.
She was trying to help the
but she was trying to develop that engine too, so the Skrulls could escape to another world where they wouldn't be attacked anymore.
Yeah. So basically, the Skrulls want to find their own planet to live on.
Yeah.
In peace.
So the family's been living up in space for what?
So
6 years.
basically, it flip flops, and you realize the Skrulls are not the villains; they're
Kree.
the good guys, and the Kree are the villains that are trying to kill all the Skrulls.
So then,
at this point, Star Force arrives.
Yes.
22 hours have passed.
Yeah.
This
Jude
is
Law
just the
shows
right
up.
amount of time for everybody
to
to
reach the one point at the same
Korath
time.
and Minerva, so they all arrive.
And then even
they uncloaked this laboratory and left it uncloaked, so that when Star Force arrives, they just see it and go. But anyway, so they get aboard this starship, and then they start fighting. They start fighting Carol Danvers, and Samuel L. Jackson's up there, and
and at this point, we get this big climactic, a series of climactic battles.
The climactic
and
battles.
one of the things they do in here, which I really enjoyed, was at this moment where she does this showdown with Jimon Honsu and Minerva and these other characters. They play No Doubt's "I'm Just a Girl," and you get that very fun kind of Guardians of the Galaxy vibe once again, where you've got this very notable '90s soundtrack playing as they're doing an action scene instead of the typical orchestral music. So
no, wait a second. Did she? No, they trap her first. They catch her again, and they hook her into the.
Oh yeah, into the.
They hook her into the.
So initially they fight and they overpower her.
Yeah.
And capture her and force her to go.
Now, is the cat thing at that time too? Do we need to talk about the cat?
It's pretty minimal.
The
cat's not a cat. It's actually
the
giant or whatever.
Yeah, dude, it opens its mouth, it has all these tentacles and stuff, and it like kills everyone.
Yeah,
and
so and
Samuel L. Jackson's like, oh my god, because
it's basically like a weapon they can use to help them in these battles. But so after the initial battle, the Star Force bad guys overpower Danvers and take her and somehow connect her back to Supreme Intelligence.
Yes. And so she's back in a
cable or
mobile.
something.
She's on a Wi-Fi.
They carry this with them, right?
Yeah.
They're like, we got the hookup right here.
It takes them 22 hours to get there, but they can somehow just
so they
remotely connect back to Supreme Intelligence.
to the Supreme Intelligence.
So she does.
So she once again faces Annette Bening.
Yeah.
Who,
and she has a mind battle, and then it starts refreshing back to about her herself as a human being, how she always fell and kept getting back up again and getting back up when she was a child. She was a tomboy. She was a fighter pilot. She would always fall in training and everything and always get back up. And it showed the strength of her character, which is cool. But while she's tied up dealing with the Supreme Intelligence in the Matrix or whatever, and that is when she realizes she finally beats it and triggers her true power. And then the Kree show up. Or not the Kree, the Accuser.
Yeah, so after she...
Earth. Or no, what happens is she's in a fight and they're like following a spaceship. And she like ejects out of the spaceship or something, and then she's about to hit the ground. And right before she hits the ground, the power comes. Like she's finally unleashed. Now she can fly and like do instantly. She's like this most powerful Marvel character.
Saying this out loud, it kind of makes you think, well, this is kind of stupid, but it's done well. So it's still like a.
But anyway, so Ronan shoots all this stuff at Earth, right? She gets one missile, like a classic Superman scene, where he grabs the tip of a missile and turns it around, and then explodes like all the other missiles, and then Ronan's like, oh my god, I can't believe you could do that, there's no one could do that. She flies up, and they have these giant, the Ronan ships are gigantic destroyers. She just flies right through one, destroys it, and then she flies up to the window and looks at Ronan.
It's very Star Wars.
Stupid. Okay? It's just plain stupid. The final scene, nothing can stop her.
Yeah.
Nothing can stop her now.
But that goes back to our complaint about the failure to define what her powers are.
Well, we had to see
They keep escalating, and we don't know, where's the limitations? Is she eventually, Lucy, is she eventually going to, get absorbed into some supercomputer?
Lucy.
Is she going to become the Supreme Intelligence?
You mean the Black Widow? No, so she flies up right next to his window and just does this.
Yeah.
What?
So this is where all the
and he's
posing
like,
goes on.
let's go home. Why doesn't she just destroy them too?
Because they're going to be integral.
Yeah, Ronan has to be in the next piece too.
Ronan's dead. Guardians. Anyway, yeah, I get it. But why didn't she whatever, I get it. So she flies back down to Earth to
To have her final showdown with Jude Law.
And he's like, and he goes right back to the beginning where, fight me without using your powers type of bullcrap that you see in all types of movies. And of course she used her powers and she's like, I'm not playing that.
I saw that coming a mile away, but I liked it. It was still fun to give Jude Law
even these things that they've done so many times, as long as they do them well, it's still an effective use of that tool. So, and so she beats the crap out of Jude Law, drags him back to his ship, puts him in there, and says, go home and send the message that I'm coming to the Kree homeworld to
the supreme intelligence, apparently.
Yeah, and then they go take off, and she like leads them away, and she like shoots into space, and she's like Superman times a billion.
Yeah. Well, the final thing is to give a beeper to.
Yeah, she gives a beeper
or Nick Fury.
No, he had a
or she reprograms it. He had a beeper. She reprograms
He had a beeper, so she changes a little bit so she can get an intergalactic beep, basically. And that's the beeper from the end of Avengers, Infinity War, where it shows Samuel L. Jackson. And he's like blah blah blah. So that's it.
Yeah, this is the end of the movie.
And then now we're gonna go. Sorry guys, but now we're gonna get to the last two scenes.
Yeah, everybody wants to know the post-credit sequence.
So the first scene is the Avengers. You have Captain America. You have.
They show Bruce Banner, Captain America, and Black Widow,
and Iron Patriot.
Oh yeah, Don Cheadle.
Yeah, and they're all there, and they're like looking at this. They have this like energy source because apparently the beeper died, and so the beeper ran out of batteries.
She didn't reprogram.
It's so stupid. Put another battery in it. So they have this like weird
charged by intergalactic.
Yeah, they have like these weird things charging it, but it ran out of power.
This is the same kind of end sequence that was in the previous one, right?
Right, he does. Yeah.
No, but now they have it in the Avengers' home.
In their base.
Their base, and they have this machine around it that looks like it's been charging it to keep beeping, and it dies. And they're like, "Oh my God! I hope they got the beep. How can we energize
Captain America
it?"
says, "Restart it."
And then they turn around and she's there. Carol there. Yeah, Captain Marvel was there, and she's like, "Where's Fury?"
Yeah,
and that's it. That's the first one. Now I tried to look around to see other little things because sometimes there's other little things in there, but it was so quick. And we had this guy behind us, a critic, like yelling at a girl right next to him about how he hated it. I'm like, dude, it's not over yet. Oh my God. And then the last credit was the cat puking up the...
so that somewhere in the middle there, the cat ate the Tesseract.
Yeah, in the movie, he eats the Tesseract. And so wait, we missed the whole big thing. Spoiler about Samuel L. Jackson. They're on the ship, right? And he's holding the cat. And he's like, "Oh, it's a good cat."
Well, through the whole movie, he's like, he really likes his cat.
Yeah,
obviously.
and even after it like turned into a monster, he still loves it. And the Talos is in the back, behind him, and they're all on the ship going away and whatever. And the cat goes, and it like scratches his eye right there, And she's like, "All right." He's like, "Yeah, it'll be fine." And you look at Talos, and he's like, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because it eventually screws up and.
So that's actually how he loses his eye, is the cat scratch. Yeah, and there's actually even more clever than that. There's a running joke because earlier in the film when he gets in a car accident, he gets his eye hurt.
Yeah, he
keeps saying, "Oh no, it's fine," and everybody keeps saying, "Oh, how's your eye doing?" He's like, "Oh, it's getting better," And so you keep thinking, "Oh, he's going to lose the eye at that point," but no.
Yeah, it always implies that one of his best friends betrayed him or something like that, and it's the cat. But what we did miss again, another part we missed is to go back to the eye thing later. Agent Coulson brings him a thing of eyes.
Oh, glass
eyes. It says
eyes,
here, but at the same time, he's typing up something called the Veers, or what did he call it? The Veers Initiative?
No, it's called like the Protector.
Oh, the Protector Initiative or something.
Something like that. And he changes it right there.
Yeah, he noticed a photo of Carol Danvers.
Her plane.
And her
nickname
Avenger.
is Carol Avenger Danvers.
So he changed it to the Avenger Initiative.
Yeah.
Now that we've seen it. So we just spoiled this whole movie. So tell us what you guys think. Look, I still think it's worth going to see. I'm just again trying.
And if you're a fan of these types of movies and you want to see the end game, you kind of
you got to see
this. Yeah,
there's I've seen
every
movie.
I like how it fit in with the rest of it.
Yeah, they fit in nicely, and it was nice to see.
And it is
Fury and all that.
Still, like we said in the other review, it is standalone enough. You don't have to see all the other films.
No, you don't. But yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little test. Let us know if you even watched the entire thing.
So bad.
Tell me how.
Give him some feedback.
Tell me how he lost his eye.
Yeah.
And then you might win a prize. Okay? Maybe some Captain Marvel. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.